All right, well, I'm going to start right on time here. So hopefully the people that have joined us here are here because they want to hear more about the LAB MFA Open Call at Locust Projects, because that is what we're talking about today. So I am Elizabeth Withstandley. I am one of the co-founders of Locust Projects. The organization was founded by 3 artists back in 1998. And we were much like you in the sense we were just graduating or had just graduated from our MFA program. And we were just kind of frustrated with the sort of lack of entry points into the art world and decided to start this organization in Miami. So let me here. So it's important to understand, who we are and what our mission is. When I apply to any organization, I always look at the mission statement just to make sure that, what I'm doing is in line with what they're doing and, we're on the same page. So our mission is to create opportunities for visual artists at all stages in their career. So this is the only opportunity that is specific to MFA students, whether you are completing your MFA degree this year, or you are just somewhere within your MFA program. We invite risk-taking and experimentation. We like to activate conversations around new art and ideas, and we advocate for artists and creative practices. So this opportunity is specific to our project room space, which is a 400 square foot nice space in our gallery. You can see it on the picture behind me here, what's behind me is a previous LAB MFA artist from a few years ago. As I already mentioned, any point in your MFA career, you are eligible. You just need to be enrolled in school at the moment. So your exhibition proposal is going to be a project that is new work, a new project that you're proposing to us. It certainly can be building off of whatever work you're doing in your MFA program. We're looking for, interesting and unique approaches and processes, concepts, things that are relevant to today. And it is site specific, so it is relevant to being put in this space that you can see behind me. So what we do is we offer you time to come to Miami, create the project. We have a residency space, which is right down the street from the gallery. So you can walk to the gallery. The dates in which you would be able to come are here listed here, June 24th to July 25th, 2022. You're working towards your project being fully installed and ready to go on Saturday, July 23rd. COVID is a little bit of a moving target for us. So we're going to just follow whatever the guidelines are at that time. If you happen to have a project in which you're concerned a little bit that, COVID-19 could be an issue, just think about, if there's some approaches to how you could deal with that. So the application, you'll apply through Submittable. And once you get to Submittable, you will need to submit these things. A resume or a CV with your contact information is great. we're just looking at this, basically just to give an understanding of things that you've done. One of the things that we think about when the committee is reviewing the proposals is feasibility. So, it's sort of nice to understand a little bit what you've done before, but I wouldn't worry if your resume is not, full of all sorts of exhibitions. It's not going to hurt you. Your project proposal. So this is 250 words that you have to tell us what it is that you're trying to do in the space. You're going to include a budget, which needs to have install and deinstall, shipping costs all in there. Images or renderings of the proposed work, and we'll go into all of this in detail in the following this slide. Your general artist statement, just so we can understand your basic practice. Some images of recent work, and a letter of recommendation from a current professor. And just to note to everybody, there'll be time for questions at the end. But one question I do get quite frequently, which I'll just get out of the way right now, is can your professor send the letter of recommendation directly to us? Yes, absolutely. But when you are in the submittable form, it is a required field. So you should just upload a Word document that says, this is the name of my professor, he's emailing it directly to you. And they'll email it to submissions@locustprojects.org, which you'll see that email at the end of this presentation. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the project proposal. We see great project proposals and we see really awful project proposals. The things that we're looking for that I would definitely touch upon are some of these bullet points here. We just really want to understand in basic language what it is you're proposing, what mediums this would include, what you're trying to convey, and how you're going to realize it. It shouldn't be, heavy in art lingo that's difficult to understand. It should be very clear. The best proposals we read, the artist clearly in the first few sentences describes, conceptually what they're trying to do, and then highlights how they're visualizing it. How is it coming together? Oops. So you are using this project room here in the yellow. This is the 400 square foot space that you can see behind me that your proposed project is for. Do not give us a proposal that takes over the whole gallery, takes over the main space or any of the other spaces. It is for this space right here. In part of the project proposal, it will tell you to, in submittable, it will tell you to download the floor plan and physically draw on here how you're using the space, which you can do exactly just that. You can download the floor plan, take a pencil. Okay, there's a big circular thing here. There's a video on the wall, whatever it is, just so we can see how you're visualizing the space. Here's a picture of the project room with nothing in it. There is this roll door here on one side. And the other side, other things that you have to keep in mind are you can't completely block off the space. There's a door over here. This project room is connected to the main space, so we need to provide accessibility. Here's a few examples of previous MFA artists that were selected. So we, we're interested in all mediums. Okay, now we're going into the budget. One of the things we ask for is a project budget. This is just a very simple one of completely made up stuff that I created just to help give you an understanding of what we're looking for. This is something that will weigh in on when we are looking at your proposal and thinking about, is it feasible? So if your budget is coming out to a number that is higher than the amount of money that we've allotted, that's going to raise a red flag. If it comes up to a number higher than that's allotted and you have other funding, I would certainly note that in the budget. We're looking for, we just want to make sure that the proposal that's selected, can come to fruition. I would, as I mentioned, one of the things is shipping. So if you have some items from your studio that you're going to need there, some aspects of the installation that you're making before you get to Miami, then you do need to definitely include some shipping costs in there. The artist statement I think is important, again, because there isn't so much information in this application. You're completely new coming to us, that having an understanding of the things that you're interested in as an artist and what you make your work about is going to be helpful for us. So tell us about your practice. How do you work? How do you execute your ideas? You only have 150 words, so again, use them wisely. And I think with things like the artist statement and also the project proposal, the ones that work best are the ones that you can send to your parents or your family, and they read it and they understand it. Because if people that are not part of the arts are a great threshold for understanding this, can understand what you're trying to convey, then we're going to understand it as well. The letter of recommendation, which I did touch upon in the very beginning, just because I get a lot of questions about it. We would like a letter from one of your graduate professors that's familiar with you and your work, obviously, so that they could give us some insight. You can upload the letter yourself if your professor is okay with that. If they are not, then you can go ahead and have them email it directly to my attention at submissions@locustprojects.org. It's great if they can put in the subject line your name, and in the body of the email also your name, so that I can make sure I'm linking it to the correct proposal. Then when you're filling out your submittable application, you should upload a page that just says, such and such professor is sending this letter directly to you. Again, so that when I'm prepping everything for the review committee, I know to go through the email, find that letter, and attach it. The deadlines are still the same, so that the letters of recommendation should not be coming in after the due date, which is March 18th. Your application will be incomplete if your letter of recommendation is not in by the due date. So you can, or you should, attach some images of your proposed project to the submittable application. So you can, make some renderings of the project. They can be, like if you have certain aspects already in the works. You can give us, in progress images, anything that helps us better understand your proposal. So we've read your 250 words. We may need some help visualizing what it is you're trying to do. You can also submit video links. In the submittable form, you'll see there's 3 spots where you can put a video link in. If it's a video that needs a password, in the image sample list, just note what the password is for each video, if that's the case. The image sample list, is your opportunity to tell us what those images or what those video links are. So there's a little example there below that you would tell us what the images you've uploaded, or you would tell us what video link that is, tell us what the title of it is, what we're looking at, normal stuff, scale, hopefully you don't have something with a live cat, and the year that it was created. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the next one. Okay, here we go. So when are the proposals due? They are due Friday, March 18th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Locust Projects is in Miami, which is why it's based on Eastern Standard Time. The submittable form will close after midnight, so you will not be able to submit anymore. We don't accept late proposals. Please don't wait till the last minute. In case you have any trouble, uploading. It gives you no advantage to be the last person that submits. We usually randomize the proposal order in which people submitted, so there's no benefit. You must submit your proposal through Submittable. You cannot send us an email, with all of that information. It has to go through Submittable because that's where the committee does the review. I'm going to open it up to some questions. I know I saw one. Hopefully I can answer any questions that you guys have at this moment. But if you think of something after the fact, you can email me at submissions@locustprojects.org. Actually, one quick second before I go to questions, I just want to go to Submittable. Okay, so now we're looking at Submittable, hopefully. I just wanted to show you, because all of these fields are required. So that letter of recommendation, like I mentioned, it is a required field. But again, there's no problem if your professor wants to email us directly. You just have to upload something here that tells me that, so that I can attach it and I know to expect it. Everything else is pretty standard. The video links, as I mentioned, are here. Just put the links in here. In this field up here is where you're going to note any passwords that would be associated with them. Okay, so let me go back to here. And then I saw there was a question from earlier. Where did that question go? It was something about the roll door. I know I saw that coming in. Where did it go? Oh, will you need access to the roll door? No, the roll door is there for you, in the space. The roll door doesn't need, we don't need the ability to open and close it, while your project's there. Like I mentioned, there is a door to get to the outside on the other side of the roll door, which you can't quite see in this picture, which you will see on the floor plan, that we do need to have access to. So keep in mind, because sometimes I have to kind of pull some proposals aside. If the proposed work is not wheelchair compliant. We need to enable people in wheelchairs to be able to move through the space. So if you're covering the whole floor with sand, that's going to be a problem. So think about the space in the sense that, we need people that are both walking and people in wheelchairs to be able to move through it. Can the residency dates be split over the weekend? So any time within that date range that you want to come or you need to come to work on the project, it would be available to you. So if you're the artist that's selected, you'll enter into deeper conversations with Locust Projects for those specific details. If you say, okay, July 30th and 31st, I'm going to be there. I happen to live, just an hour away from Miami or 2 hours away from Miami. I'm just going to come for that weekend. I'm also going to come for these dates. We can certainly facilitate that. As in, can the artist come and go on the weekend and then return to their homes through the week? Yes. Hopefully that answered that. We do, this is a nationwide search for MFA students. So artists that are from further away, there is a travel stipend for them. Artists that are local also are completely welcome. Just the travel stipend doesn't go to you because you don't need the travel stipend. Are there any workplaces for fabrication? Well, you have the space, so you can work in the project room while you're there. If you need anything specific, we can help facilitate that with some of the, our knowledge of Miami in terms of, if you need something wood cut or, specific sort of shop needs, most likely we can facilitate that. I wouldn't worry about it too much unless you're proposing something that's like really very, very specific in terms of needs. Then you might want to note it in the project description that you're going to need, us to connect you with, I don't know, a horse ranch or whatever it is, just so we've got a little FYI of what the project would need if it's out of the ordinary. Is the space waterproof? Is it okay if the floor walls get humid? I don't know, is any place in Miami waterproof? Is it waterproof? Well, the floor is cement and the walls are drywall. So I'm not sure if I 100% know to answer that question, but if your project is going to make the space really humid, it's likely something we can work with. As I said, it's already pretty humid there. In the description, it says that the videos are for video-based work. Could I submit a video of work that does not make sense, I guess, without video documentation? If you have, yes, you can. The primary focus of the video links is for media-based works. But if you have something that cannot be represented in a still image, then yes, you can submit a video link. Keep in mind our specifications for what we're looking for are built not to be limiting. We're just giving you guidelines of the things that we need to be able to properly assess what you're trying to do, but we want to work with you in terms of, whatever the best way to get the information to us so that we can better understand your proposed work is what we're looking for. I'm gonna go to the Locust Projects website for a second. If you're not familiar with Locust Projects, a great resource is our website. Sorry, I'm not very elegantly flipping between things here. Oh, I think it's still here. Okay. So, Locust Projects. I would definitely recommend, again, if you're, maybe not very familiar with us, which is totally fine. There is a massive amount of information on our website. You can look at upcoming exhibitions, you can look at past exhibitions, you can look by artist. All our years of programming are available here. You can see the MFA student, from each year too, so you can kind of see the things that have been selected in the past. But keep in mind, we rotate the committee every year, so there's always different people on there. Again, we're just trying to, be fair, get different views and opinions in there. As we know, there's a subjectivity to art, that people just have different taste in things. So please review the website. You can also go here to read more about the submission. If you go to this for artists, submissions, and then LAB MFA. One thing that I didn't touch upon, which I just wanted to mention, was in the summer, during this time period where the LAB MFA artist is here to work on their project, there is another program going on with local high school students. They're putting on something in the main gallery, in the larger space. They'll be in the space every day, doing things with a teaching artist that's there with them. So, I think it's important to know that. Another thing I forgot to mention was you can submit as an individual artist, or you can submit as a collaborative group. You just both, or however many there are, you all need to be MFA students. And if you're submitting a collaborative work, hopefully you've collaborated before, so there's some sort of, background to it. Okay, I lost my little chat window here. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay. Okay, new question. Can the artist working earlier than the residence, can the artist start working earlier than the residency dates if they find their own housing? Can the artist deliver materials prior to the residency start dates? Yes, we can really work out these specifics with you if you're the artist that is selected. So if you have, I don't know, constraints, or you need that extra time, you can, make a little note of it in your project description. The idea with the residency time that we're providing to you is that we're trying to help facilitate it. If, you needed time before that, or you needed to send stuff early, I'm sure we could, facilitate to the best of our ability. So hopefully, we wouldn't want you to have to spend money on housing outside of the residency period. But, we're open to, just figuring out how we can help facilitate the work that you want to put there. And one thing to keep in mind too is, what you're proposing is not set in stone. As soon as you hit submit, you know, we know there's a little bit of fluidity to the proposed project, and there's some changes that come about. So we will work with you with those changes. Let me make sure I answered all these questions. Let's see. Oh, there's a question in the Q&A. Okay, so this person says, is the space outside the shutter door on the street are part of Locust Projects too? So there's a parking lot behind that roll door. Can the space immediately outside the building be used to engage the public? We have had projects where that roll door is open for, you know, specific events related to the exhibition. So there is an ability to do that. Again, you must keep in mind that this is Miami. It is Southern Florida. It rains an awful lot in the summer, and it is very hot and humid. So just keep those things in mind. Again, we're, you know, we want to help facilitate your idea. We don't want to necessarily, you know, put up walls and say, no, you can't do that. We just want to make sure you understand what it's like there. During the residency time, is that when the project space is open for starting installation? Yes. So those, you have a whole month there in which that space is for you to put that piece together. Just making sure I answered all the questions. So we got the waterproofing one. Any other questions? I'm just going to put the email address here in the chat. Make sure I type it correctly. So that's email address where you can email me directly if you have any questions that you think of later. If your professor wants to email your letter of recommendation directly, that's again the same email address to use. I'm also going to drop in the chat the link to Submittable. I can locate it. Here it is. And I'm going to put in. So that is the direct link to Submittable. And then I'm going to put in a link to Locust Projects. So please familiarize yourself with our organization if you're unfamiliar. It will really help, I think, in just seeing the scope of the projects that we've supported over the years, whether it's the MFA or the projects outside of that. It's a great way to get a good understanding of us. Roughly how many applicants do you receive? Good question. We usually get less than 50, I would say. The past years have been less than 50. So it's, in terms of numbers, there's much greater odds at getting this opportunity than many others that are out there. I don't know. I can't say exactly what's going to happen this year. Who knows? Maybe we get some great outreach and we have more applicants. But in the past, we have hovered sort of around that 40 to 50 proposals have come in. And then we will have, I think I just briefly talked about the committee. There'll be 3 people on the review committee. One will be a past LAB MFA artist. One will be a local artist, and the third will be a local curator. And, you know, we try to put those groups together where they are interested in very diverse, you know, mediums and ideas, so that, you know, they're all coming at it from a different place. Any other questions? And if I've missed one, please just type something into the, type it back in there to make sure I answer it. But it's a great program. You know, I'm excited about it. It's great sort of seeing how many years have passed and thinking about, you know, where I was and the other artists that started the organization in the beginning, that we were in this very spot like you know, just trying to figure out how can we get our artwork out there in the world. And then we sort of went a step further with how can we help facilitate others to get their artwork out in the world. Well, I'm going to give kind of a last call for questions here. Oh, here's another one. Okay. When selecting, how do you balance past experience, exhibition history of the artist versus the strength of the proposed project? So the committee is going to review based on a few things, which are noted maybe roughly here, but yes, they're definitely looking at what is the proposed project, you know, conceptually, you know, what is the depth of it. They are looking at the past work, as I mentioned in the very beginning, more for just to get an understanding of, you know, you as an artist, and to help answer that question of facilitation. Like, does it seem like this proposed project could be facilitated by this artist? So if your past work is really different than the project that you're proposing, I would suggest you definitely touch upon that in your project proposal, so that that question can be, you know, we can be put at ease on the committee that, okay, this person can facilitate this. You know, they've told us, you know, something about that in the project proposal, even though we're going to look at some examples of past work that differs greatly. You know, also keep in mind, you know, we are not a commercial gallery. We do not offer artist representation. We are not selling the work. This is an opportunity to, you know, expand your practice in the sense of, you know, being able to create a site-specific installation, a site-specific project that, you know, furthers your ideas, your, you know, if you are a very standard, you know, painter, meaning you mostly make paintings on canvas, but you want to propose something to us, you need to think about the space. You need to think about conceptually, what is my idea? How is it going to apply to this space? Some of the specifics about, you know, the funding that we have is available here on this page. The artist stipend, the production budget, and also the stipend towards travel if you're outside of the Miami area. Hopefully that answered the question about you know, how we're looking at past experience and exhibition history. Any more questions? Maybe not. again, I know there's some people still here. If you have any questions about anything, just go ahead and type them in to either the chat or the Q&A. I have both windows open. And if not, we can conclude. I wish you all the best of luck. March 18th is the deadline. Again, please do not wait until the last minute to submit. You know, there's often, you know, technical things that do come up at the last minute. Maybe your internet isn't working. So don't leave it until the last day. And we can conclude here. Great. Well, thank you all for listening in, and hopefully we'll see one of you at Locust Projects for this opportunity.